Welcome to Babies from Beyond, the podcast that gives all babies a voice, whether they are still in spirit or already earthside. I'm Lauren Dionysius, a former registered NICU nurse turned baby soul communicator, and I'm here to share the wisdom of today's babies to guide you on your motherhood journey. Okay, so today we're continuing with these guest episodes where I invite a woman onto the podcast and we do a live baby soul reading for her future children or babies or children who are already earthside. So today we have Claire on the podcast and I'm going to be doing a live baby soul recording with her, and this has been shared with her full permission and with deep respect for her journey at this time as well. So you'll be able to just catch like a short glimpse of baby soul communication and what that can look like, sound like, feel like, and the types of wisdom or information that today's children want to share with the world. So before we begin, just to remind you that every woman's path is unique and different. There's no one way to journey through motherhood. So if thing resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. All right. So Claire, thank you so much for being here. Before we get started, would you like to share just a little bit about you and your journey and where you're at right now?
Thank you so much for having me. On my journey right now, I need to get my husband on board to having another baby. And I have had a journey. I've got a 10-year-old daughter. So I do have a daughter earthside, and I'm wanting obviously to give her a sibling. I've had health issues over the years and I'm finally all clear of that now. So now would be the perfect time. I feel like my body would be able to hold a baby. But yes, I do not have my husband on the same page. And yeah, I'm curious to know whether there's a baby soul there waiting and when and how to get him on my side.
No worries. Thank you for sharing that. And I think it's really, I love that you bring that up, because I often hear this from women that they're ready to have another child or they'd like to have another child, but their husband or their partner is like not on the same page. So I'm excited to see what wisdom comes through around this today. And then just as a disclaimer, like, have we worked together before? Have you had any other readings or sessions with me in the past?
I have had a session with you before, and I think it was about 2 and a bit years ago now. It was a while ago. Nothing's obviously happened since then, but obviously we're working on things on this side as well. And yeah, I loved what came through. And maybe it might be similar information today. I don't know.
Let's see, hey? Because like, I never remember the details, but yeah. So let's dive in and see what comes through. I am going to just take some time now to call in these souls off camera. So yeah, so I'll be back in a moment. Okay. Okay, Claire, do you have anything in particular or any specific questions that you would like to ask to give us a focus for today?
I do have a couple of questions. Yes. I've written them down. One of them is, what does my spirit baby want me to know before conception?
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to know more questions as well?
No, let's start with that one. And we'll see where that one goes, because sometimes the other questions can be answered anyway. But I'm feeling to ask the other questions. Any questions you have written down, let me know now.
Okay, so my other question is there a timeline on when spirit baby will come through? And the other one is, what are they coming here to learn? What is their purpose of coming here to Earth in this lifetime?
Okay. All right. Okay, so that's good actually. I'm feeling that we kind of needed more of a container or a space with all of the questions in it. Okay, so again, I can't remember from our previous reading, obviously, being a couple of years ago, but what I do sense is a a masculine feeling soul around you, baby soul, I'll call it a him, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's coming through as a boy. Although with this particular child, it wouldn't surprise me. But that's more of an intuitive sense rather than a direct soul confirmation. So just to be clear on that. But I do, feel the energy of a masculine feeling soul. But masculine feeling souls are very strong, very direct, very decisive. But he's sharing that he is not part of, like, his journey at this time is not to step fully into that energy. And part of that is also because of you and your health journey. He's saying, like, if he used his masculine energy to its fullest extent, it would push your body in a way that it didn't need to be pushed or didn't want to be pushed. So he's also practicing staying not distant, but he's practicing the more still, strong side of his masculine energy rather than the active doing side of the masculine energy. I just want to stop here. Can you remember, like, when we did our last reading with the future soul energy that came through? Can you remember if it was more of a feminine feeling or masculine feeling soul?
It was a masculine feeling soul.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It was
okay. So that it feels to me that is that same energy, that same soul. I like to check because sometimes things can and do change.
Yeah.
When it comes to the souls who are coming, like they can change their mind, but I like to just check. But I do feel then that this is the same soul around you who was there 2 years ago and that he hasn't gone anywhere. So hopefully that's a little bit of reassurance for you as well.
That is a good sign.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think, but he is waiting. He is waiting. It's like, it's not my time yet. It's not my time yet. I know you want it to be my time yet, but it's not my time yet. It's not my time. It's not my time. So he's wants to be very, very clear about that. And so this is coming from his side of the fence as well. And that, it's easy to think that you're missing something or doing something wrong or something like that. But I'm not getting that for you. I mean, we'll go into you in a little bit, but what I'm feeling for him and for his journey is, no, like, this is me. It's not my time. It's not my time. It's not my time. And this is because he is waiting. And I do say waiting, and I want to then bring in or just acknowledge what I'm feeling, like your husband's role in all of this as well. And I want to be clear too, this soul is saying that your husband is playing a role now. He's not being a blockage. He's not being well, I guess he is blocking conception, but it's for a reason, is what I'm feeling. He's not just doing it to be difficult, or he's blocking it, or him not being on board right now is actually part of what's needed when it comes down to the timing of this. I do feel that he will be on board. I do feel it probably won't be as much as you'd like or hope, but I feel that part of him getting on board will be the conception itself. It's easy for him to kind of not be on board pre-conception, but my sense is that what I'm sensing from this soul is he'll probably get to a point where he's about 50-50. Kind of like, yes, I want another baby. No, I don't, but a lot more open to it than what he is now. Because right now his energy does feel like I'm kind of getting like this sort of energy where it's like it feels like a firm and a clear no. But I feel like with this, like in the future, there's going to be a shift around it being more of a 50-50. And that's when energetically the portals for conception will be more open. And then when conception happens, that's going to help him probably get to about 70 or 80%. And then once you're through that first trimester, then I feel like he will be 100% on board and will be excited and looking forward to this and couldn't imagine not having this happen. But I feel like he is playing a role right now in the timing of things. Because if he was totally on board right now and you were trying to conceive, I still don't feel that this soul would be coming to you at this time, because he's waiting. And yes, he is waiting for your husband to become more open to the process, but it's also not why he is. Yeah, it's not why it's not the full reason why he's waiting. And now I'm feeling drawn. I'm just going to take a moment because I'm feeling drawn to your 10-year-old, to Mika. So let's see what she has to say around this. It's interesting. I'm feeling what she's going to share is quite similar to what I'm feeling from other children who want the space, who want the gap. Just quickly, I will mention that, it's very common for us to assume or think or even hope that children are born quite close together. But more and more children are wanting to have a bigger gap. So that is also part of the journey as well, and also part of, again, looking at the bigger picture, why things have unfolded as they have. Like I feel like she does have not a lot to share, but there's a couple of things that she wants to bring into the space as well from her perspective and her journey. But what I'm feeling, and this is actually, I feel like it's coming from Mika and also from this masculine feeling soul as well, to see like the bigger picture, because they're saying when it comes to timing on the earth, because it needs to be a linear process, because that's how time works on the earth, like moment by moment by moment in that 3D reality. They're saying that sometimes things are put in the way. We think they're in the way, that we think they're blocking, or we think they're a problem, but they're actually serving a purpose in regards to the unfolding of the timelines. So, for example, your health problems may have seemed like a blockage to conception, but they're actually supporting the timing of the timeline and it unfolding.
Yeah.
And same with your husband now. He's playing a role in almost like protecting the timing of that timeline is how it feels. So it's easy to think it's something's going wrong, or it's holding things up, or it's a blockage. Bigger picture, soul level, whole puzzle view is that these little pieces are, it's like supporting, protecting, nurturing that timeline, even though as humans here on the earth, it can feel like the total opposite. So I just wanted to share that first, but I'm feeling to go to Mika now around like with her soul.
Yep.
And so I'm going to like feel into her energy and share a little bit about her energy and what I'm sensing from her, and then we'll listen to what she has to share. So I just want to feel her energy. So I tune into her soul's energy, and it is very soft. It is very gentle, very, very, very sensitive. This is how her soul's energy feels. Sometimes when they come to earth, it can be similar to that, or sometimes it can be the opposite of that, depending on what they're coming to explore. So, but in her soul state or her soul's energy, it's soft, it's gentle. There's a little bit of like caution there or wariness, but it's not fear-based. It's because I feel like she's quite deliberate in her actions, in her behavior, and energetically she's probably a little bit more like the tortoise rather than the hare, even though I feel like there's times where she maybe jumps the gun a bit and she gets a little bit lost in that. But again, on this soul level, and I feel like what she's here to learn is more this like steady state, one step at a time type process, because she's telling me that I have rushed through life many times before. And while it's been fun at times, it hasn't always served me, or it hasn't always been the most helpful for me in the bigger picture. But I've learned a lot from those experiences. But what she's sharing now is like, I want to do this life, not in a controlled way. She's like, she's not about controlling or limiting myself, but I just want to be intentional and purposeful in my actions. So as children, these types of qualities don't always come through this early, but I feel like, as an adult, that's what she'll be working towards. So I'm just curious, Claire, like how is Mika now with her energy? Did any of that resonate, or does she feel a bit like she's the opposite of that? How would you describe?
Some of it resonates, and maybe that's what's under her shell, but on the outside, shipping could be quite harsh and stuff sometimes. So I don't know that she's very soft.
Yes.
I mean, she's a lovely girl, and she has been since day one.
Yes.
But yeah, maybe the little bit opposite, but I mean, kids are kids.
Yes.
They don't know any different. And then when they come up to adults, that's when they generally will show their true
Yes.
colors, their true side from what I have seen. I'm curious to know,
Yep.
and you don't have to answer this if you can't, have her and I done a past life together already?
So yes, I feel like there's been past lives with you where she was in the mother role and you were in that daughter role, and she has protected her heart. Not from you, but it feels like, and this is where I will say a little disclaimer now, this is where soul energies can get really complex and really complicated. So hopefully this will still make sense as I try to, again, translate the dynamics that are coming through when it comes to past lives and soul histories together. So it feels to me, I'm feeling really drawn to one particular past life for you guys where Mika was the mother and you were the daughter. And because of the time she was living in, I feel like she did have a husband, but he wasn't there for the long term. Probably feel like for him, like some sort of illness or some sort of injury that ended in illness, which could have possibly been like a war injury or something like that, that he may have ended up with pneumonia or something and he left. So anyway, she was basically left to fend for herself. And I feel like she had children. Actually feels like she had 5 children at that time. You, I feel, were the oldest of that. And so you kind of copped a lot of her energy with trying to deal what was happening. It's like you often bore the brunt of that, whether it was frustration, anger, sadness, fear. It feels like she projected that onto you because you were kind of like the next, I don't know, I'm feeling like the next one in line, or when it comes to her connections after her husband leaves, it's kind of you were probably the next person that she had the most to do with or most in contact with, being like the eldest child of 5 is what it feels. And so it feels like there's this energy dynamic between the two of you around what I'm seeing from her, or what she's showing me from her soul is she's projecting. I just see her like talking, like, and there's a lot of stuff coming out, some things not so nice, some mostly frustration coming out of her, and she projecting that onto you. Like you do the littlest thing and she'll bite. And then also you as this child who I feel at the time that I'm sensing this, you were around 13 or 14, was kind of like almost like you were, sort of trying to protect yourself from that and also to protect your own heart. So it's interesting. I actually feel for both of you, there's actually a similar wound, but it's come through. It's evolved with your soul's journey in different ways, but you've both met again in this life but in the different roles to help bring balance to that. So what I'm feeling is that now that you're in that mother role, and I do feel, and you don't have to confirm or deny, but like I do feel when I tune into your soul and your energy, there's also, I don't feel the same harshness from you. I feel like the inside of your heart is very soft, very tender, and I feel like you have actually chosen in this life to not have walls. There's times where walls are there for important reasons, maybe even safety reasons, but I feel like generally your heart, you're someone that tends to more wear your heart on your sleeve rather than someone who tends to like build up these walls around you. So it feels like, yeah, your soul, looking at a result of that life, although there's many lives involved here, but just focusing on this particular one to make it a little bit easier to understand, like I feel like your soul has come to this life thinking, I'm not going to do what I did last time. I'm not going to put my walls up. I'm not going to protect myself. I want to honor my heart space. I want to feel things, and I actually want to learn to put boundaries around my heart, but not out of fear and not out of needing to protect myself. Like I want the softness of my heart to be seen, to be heard, and to be felt, especially by me. Whereas I feel like Mika's soul has come into this space almost with a similar wound, but she's going about it a different way. She's like, my walls are going to be up and I'm going to go into this world almost like all guns are blazing. And I'm going to learn in my life further down the track as I'm an adult that it's going to be okay and safe to be able to bring down my walls like brick by brick, layer by layer with certain people at certain times. But I'm going to learn that my heart is soft and it can be there, and it can also be safe without me needing to like block everybody out. So it's interesting because it's like your heart is open, and I feel like you need to learn as you go through life to protect your heart a little bit more. Whereas I feel like Mika, again, coming in with the same wound, but she is coming in with the walls up, and she's going to learn to lower those appropriately through different experiences, like as she gets older. So it means that bringing both of you back into this dynamic, even though like the roles are reversed, is how it feels. It's also what she needs, because, you know, if you came in all guns a blazing and your walls were still up, then it could potentially cause like a lot of conflict between the two of you, with you and your soft heart that was protected with a hard shell, and her with her soft heart that was protected with a hard shell, and there'd be a lot more clashing. Whereas it feels like with you being the adult this time, it's going to give her one, different role modeling. Again, we're just focusing on this life, but there's lots of lives involved, where she's learning from you at this time, even though she's not going to be able to articulate this. It's going to be happening unconsciously for her, where she's actually seeing a different way to be in the role that you're in, because it's not coming from like a cold, protected heart. It's coming from a softer space. That was a lot that just like randomly came through, but it felt really important to kind of share this, we can call it like a soul wound that has come through from past lives into this life, but playing out in really like different ways. So I mean, that was a lot randomly, but yeah, any questions around that, or anything you'd like some clarity on with that?
No, I don't think so. I think that was really interesting to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it obviously gives a perspective as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything you said was so true. So yeah.
Give you some more insight into her and perhaps how she's behaving in this life as well. But I wanted to go back to this soul that I was sensing, this masculine feeling soul, because we sort of got sidetracked there. But again, I always want the information to come through. Yeah, so now let's go back to this masculine feeling soul that kind of came in at the beginning and then kind of got like pushed out of the space for a little bit. Yeah, so I just want to connect more with his energy, allow him to come closer. See what he has to share. Need to find him again. Yeah, so he's saying like I needed to give her more time. I think when he's saying her, I think he's actually referring more to Mika, but also for you as well. But it feels like just in relation to what we're saying around the brutality side of things, I think because this masculine soul, yes, there's a strength in him, and there's a confidence even in him. There's also, interesting, I actually feel like this masculine soul may have been one of those 5 siblings, or the 4 other siblings that you had in that life we were just talking about. One who was kind of also bore the brunt, but less so than you, from your mother, from Mika's soul in that life. So there's definitely like a connection there with him as well, is what I'm feeling. Because I feel like he has kind of pulled back a lot energetically as we were talking about that, which is showing me that there's something there for him as well, or something here for him to journey through in this life with you all as well. So having like the dynamic around this, I also feel again that your husband, again on the soul level, I'm sensing his soul you weren't all part of the same family, I don't think, in that life. But I also feeling that actually some of his resistance when we go into, why is he like resisting another child, is I'm feeling like he is sensing, and again, most likely subconsciously, these dynamics as well between Mika, between you and this masculine soul, because like the three of you, it's going to be a very strong dynamic. And strong in that, yes, it can be very powerful and very nourishing and very nurturing, but also when souls are bringing a lot of baggage into this life, which we all do, it's just sometimes we bring it in with the same souls, other times we're kind of testing it out with other souls. And while it can be very powerful and, as I said, very nurturing and loving, very strong, it can also be really challenging. And I'm feeling that and this is part of what's needed for the space with Mika and a sibling. The bigger the space, the easier in many ways the dynamic is going to be without re-triggering things as strongly as previous lives. But what I feel, your husband is sort of sensing this a little bit, but this masculine soul I feel like he's still hovering. I feel like he's not ready to land just yet. As we're saying, like I'm feeling like, your husband's getting on board a bit longer. I just want to feel into if he can give me like some idea of the timelines. He's saying at this point in time, he has his sights set on a space about 6 months from now. So what are we, August now? So that'll be like February next year. End of February next year is about 6 months from now. He's saying that he feels that your husband, his father, is going to need this amount of time, but it also feels like, as I was saying earlier, like that something will shift in that time. But I feel like it will need a few months, and it's just going to be a subtle shift. It's not going to be a black and white thing. So that needs time to happen. So I'm feeling like I'm getting around 6 months for that. And then I'm feeling like in February, again, I don't know what exactly is going to cause that shift, if it's just going to happen organically, if it'll be a conversation with someone, an experience that he has, or maybe it's just something that organically happens around this shift. But then it feels like from February onwards, it'll be more that 50-50, which will then open the doors to conception a little bit more. From Mika's perspective, it's like the longer the better. I feel like so like respecting this space as well, and doesn't want to push or rush her, because he's like, I don't want what she's got, is kind of like the feeling I'm getting from him, or I don't want to be on the end of that. But like the older she is, I feel like it is going to soften with her over time. So he's just mindful of that. So so it still feels very vague because there's a lot that still needs to unfold. But I am feeling like from about February next year, things will start to shift. And then I feel like it's really giving it next year for this 50-50 to like start moving and shifting and becoming more on the side of conception. But I don't know what it is about 2026, but it feels like it is important. Feels like there's a lot of new energy that's going to be coming in 2026, which will be supportive and really helpful for those children who are wanting to come to the earth. It gives their energy or their timelines a little bit of extra oomph, is what this child is saying to me. So it's still like a little bit vague, but I think give it 6 months. Don't put pressure on yourselves in that time for conceiving. But I feel like there will be a shift, in that first couple of months next year, when you can start being more consciously or actively trying to conceive, and then seeing how the timelines will unfold then. So any questions around that, or anything that we perhaps didn't answer that you wanted to ask?
No, I found that quite insightful. I have heard that 2026 is a big year.
Yes.
For energy and all that type of stuff. So that makes total sense.
Definitely. Like for me, energetically, it feels like 2025, it's like the transition between the old and the new. And so there's a lot of stuff falling away, but also new things starting to come in, especially the second half of 2025. So it feels like 2026, when the calendar ticks over to that, especially probably more so after the Chinese New Year, which tends to be in February sometime, which is interesting that February came up. It might be more of an alignment with the Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then going into next year, it just feels like the energies will be much more aligned, and that's like for everyone as well. Like it's not just just to those listening. It's I'm not just talking about Claire here. Like I'm talking about others as well. So something to keep in mind if you are on this conception journey. Okay, so thank you so much, Claire, for being open to receiving this reading and for joining me here today. And for allowing us to share your journey and to allow others to hear the wisdom of these souls. Because, if you've been listening to this podcast for a little while now, you'll know that every session is very, very different. It's sometimes there's similarities, but there's some very unique wisdom that comes through in every session with a different focus. So, and I also want to thank Claire's husband's soul as well, for his presence and his insights, and also Claire's soul, obviously. And then also these two children as well, thanking Mika's soul for being part of this space, for sharing some insights into her journey and also her past life history, which can give us so much insight into these children. And also, thank you to this masculine soul who is his kind of there hovering and his patience with the whole process, and also his persistence and his consistency in his presence over the years as well. So thank you for allowing us to see you and hear you and feel you, and to receive your messages. So thank you for tuning in today. If this stirred something in you or you feel curious about your own journey, then please reach out, check out the show notes below, and you can find the links there for baby soul readings or healings or anything that you feel may support you at this time. Thank you for tuning in to Babies from Beyond. If you've enjoyed this episode, I'd love for you to leave me a review just wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, head over to Instagram and give me a follow at Born Energy, and check out the show notes for more ways that you can connect with your baby's soul, including one-on-one readings and online programs to support you. Until next time, trust your journey and your baby. Take care.